they just offered me the severance package, and it's an absolute joke. $1,800 a month per year of service that you've been working here, which for me would times 24 years would add up to about 43,200. You know how fast you can blow through $43,000? That's not even a down payment on a house. I live in Northern California. It's an absolute joke. I don't see anybody I don't think anybody should take it. Just hang on to it. Let them lay you off and collect your unemployment. Let them, you will be the first one to get hired in peak season. Keep your seniority date. Collect your unemployment. We got to force this on them, dude. Like, they're trying to get out of the contract, and it's not because it's not a bad one. They just want more money. It's just straight up corporate greed. That's what it is. Don't do it. The only people I can see that this making sense for is somebody that's already been eligible for retirement, and they just been hanging on. This might push some of the more senior guys out of the top, but if you're not eligible for retirement yet, and there's a simple formula to figure that out, then don't take it. The formula to figure out your retirement is time worked plus age. If that equals 80, then you are eligible for retirement. And for me, that'll be when I'm 49. 49 plus 31 years of service, because I've been here since I was 18. That's 49 years old. I'll be eligible for retirement. So I got another 7 years before that happens. And it's a third of a year's pay. 43,000, one third of 1 year's pay. That absolutely ridiculous. Nobody take that. Force their hand. Force them to lay you off and collect your unemployment. And then just wait your turn. Keep your seniority date.
I get where he's coming from, but I gotta be honest with you. You have to do what's actually best for you in your own financial state. Everything that he said, I feel as though is accurate, and I think that it's good inf- information. But trust and believe, if you take someone's advice, it might not be mostly beneficial to you. I understand the unemployment part. Now, this the other part that he didn't talk about that's not beneficial to take that unemployment. Say for instance he take the 43,000. He takes the 43,000 and check this out. He goes and he starts searching for a new job. Most likely he'll find a new job within a good before 3 months. That's especially if he's in the trucking field. He would definitely find another job. But this is where the problem is going to happen. When you tend to listen to somebody like that, that means they already looking to sit down for at least months in, waiting on a callback. Did you notice that when he said that, he talked about not losing your seniority? You're playing a guessing game. And along with a guessing game, what's going to happen when you play that guessing game, you don't know when you're quite going to be called back into work, which means you're going to lose a lot of your salary by not promoting yourself to another job. And when I say that, I'm talking about getting up off of your butt and searching for another job to make good money. And the reason why I say that is because unemployment does not compensate for your whole loss of wages. Anyone knows that. So I think that it's beneficial for people to also do the numbers and also look at it like this. When you look at somebody that gives information like that, it's very formative, but it's also misleading because a lot of us are put in bad positions, and sometimes we tend to think that, yo, what is the next person doing? But what tends to happen is you can't look at the next person. You got to look at your financial statement. 43,000 can go far for some because they already know that they're actually going to be up and moving around looking for another job, which means you have at least a 2 to 3 month gap in order to find another job, right? Because most likely you're going to find another job before the 3 month mark. In most cases, I'm gonna say most. I don't know what's going on in your background, what's causing you to not get another job, but hey, that's here's hearsay. I don't know, but I know that I never waited that long to get a call back for a job. But it also depends on what field you're in. Another thing, when you look at the financial benefits of taking that money, also remember it's a benefit if you are financially stable. That's another scenario why I think it will be a good opportunity for somebody to snatch that money if they are in a good financial state, meaning they have money in the bank, they caught up on their bills, they also have backup that can also hold them over for at least 3 months. Let's be real. If you have money to hold you over for at least 3 months, just say 3 months, that's of your own money, not the buyout money, just your own money, you will be okay. Long as you are pushing yourself to actually start looking for other jobs and you got good connections with people. That's something to really think about. Like that's something that's real informative that's going to help a lot of people be able to gather themselves and get their feedback under them. Like you're not going to lose. You can't lose when you have a hustle mentality like that. And a lot of times when you follow that method that he was saying, that method is going to cause you to become lazy and stagnant and also dependent on that job that just lets you go. Let's be real. How many people have you seen waiting on a job to call them back and they never call them back and they end up bringing in other employees for a lower wage, a lower salary? Come on, let's be smart. If they're getting rid of you due to cost, why do you think that they're going to bring you back and keep your seniority? You playing a guessing game. That's a guessing game that you don't quite know if it's going to work good for you. You don't know. And you don't know because you're just blurting words out. Not and I understand that a lot of times when you gotta also remember too. This man said he had 18 years in. No. Was it 18 years? No, he started at 18 or something like that. Put it like this. He worked this job all his life. That was his main job since he was a teenager. He said it. So he tends to have a mindset of that's all he knows because that is all he knows. For people out here that went through multiple different jobs, know that losing a job is not the end of the day. You're going to move on and you're going to go to the next. But that's the problem. You got someone giving you information, which I don't see wrong, but you got somebody's giving you information with a mindset of an 18-year-old that started working and never left. In most cases, in most jobs out here, you are not staying with a company from your teens all the way up to in your 40s and 50s. And speaking of that, I don't went through multiple jobs. I don't went through what, one, two, three, four, five, six, maybe 8 or 9 jobs. Shit, it might be even 10 or 11. But I got fired from jobs. I also got laid, or I'm not gonna say laid off, but let go in a premature way. Also got reprimanded and got fired due to negligence on my part of doing dumb, idiotic things. Like, look, nobody's perfect out here. I'm gonna tell you that now. Nobody is perfect. But we're not going to play the game of waiting around for jobs. You do not wait around for a job to call you back when they let you go. I am sorry, but you cannot stagnate and sit there on the back burner and let a job dictate your whole livelihood. And that's a problem from a person like that giving that type of information. I understand where they're coming from because I understand what it's like to be young. I also know what it's like to be fired. And I also know that when you first get fired, the first time you ever get fired or let go, it is yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. It is depressing, and it's also it feels like it's life ending. It felt like my life was going to end for a whole day, not a week, not a whole 2 days, 3 days, only a day. You know why that day? It felt like I was on suicide watch. I got fired, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then next thing you know, I ain't gonna even say it took a whole day. It took maybe hours. And then next thing you know, I was out. I went out. And you know why I went out? Because, yo, you end up realizing after you get fired, yo, hold up. I'm tripping. Why am I thinking like this? Then you realize You thinking backwards because you like, if I landed this job, why am I thinking that I'm not gonna land another job? It's actually foolish to think that way, but this is what happens when you're young. You never been through it, and this is why you're seeing a lot of older people that been with their job forever. This is all they know, and this is sad because if you've been with a job till you 50, 60, and they let you go, I ain't gonna say 60. I'm gonna just say around your late 40s to 50, and they let you go, and you never had another job. That's gonna be detrimental to your mental. And the reason why is because anybody can give you advice, but can nobody give you advice on reality and how you move about your days when you only had a one job your whole life, and you breathe, you live, sleep, eat, like you do everything implemented around that job. So when you lose it, you don't even know how to operate right. You don't. And it's sad because too many people right now are living through their jobs. And the problem with that is, if you live through your job will rob you of your happiness. Because once they get rid of you, this is all you know. And if it's all you know, it feels like a home to you and family. And they will demolish you and make you feel like you're nothing. So don't think that you're not supposed to put in that work at your job, but at the same time, also keep your eyes and ears open to know that if a job is doing bad, start looking, start getting down, putting your resume out, sharpen your skills up, because one of the things you don't want to do, you don't want to be caught off guard. If you hear rumblings, those rumblings are happening for a reason. You don't hear gossip about a job that you're working at, and it's just he say, she said, and it goes nowhere. It's no, it's starting somewhere because somebody started talking. You know, well, I end up quitting my job. Well, I end up I'm not gonna say resign. I got suspended, and when I got suspended for my job, I got suspended for doing some records. I was still in time, mind you. They went to fire me, and in the midst of firing me, this was the crazy part. I've been fired before. So when they called me into the office, I'm gonna tell you how relaxed I was. Heart beating, and then my heart rate just went down, and I relaxed because I was like, "Damn, I'm caught." I I was like, "Forget it. I'm not gonna even sit up there and bull crap with them. I'm fired, so I'm not gonna sit up and beg for my job. I'm gonna go ahead and start looking for a new job starting today. Like once I get off of work, I'm gonna start putting in my resume." That's how I was thinking in my brain. I don't know why I started thinking that way. I thought that way because I was like, "Damn, I'm fired. I'm canned." And they called me into the office, and then when they called me into the office, I was like trying to figure out why I was in the office. But mind you, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I actually didn't know why I was in the office. And then next thing you know, I found out it was due still in time. They caught me, and somebody told on me. Somebody told somebody, I can't blame them for snitching on me, but they told on me. And they asked me a simple question. They said, "Is this true?" And I said right away, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm not gonna bullshit y'all." I said, "I'm in HR for a reason, right?" And I said, "All my bosses are here, right?" I said, you, and you. I said, "So obviously y'all already seen enough information on me to call me in the office. Am I correct?" And the lady looked at me, and she didn't even say nothing. She wouldn't comply with, not I ain't gonna say comply. She wouldn't even like answer and say yes. She just looked at me. I said, "Look, I'm not." I said, "Look, yes, yes." And she looked and she said, "So you're admitting?" I ain't get cocky. I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, I'm still in time." She said, "Do you know our our policies for still in time?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's fire. It's a no-no." From that point, I realized I was not scared to own up to any of my bad decisions I made, and also I wasn't scared of being fired. But because I knew that life don't stop, and what ended up happening was I found out within maybe 5 minutes after saying that, they talked, and they was like, "You know what? Check this out. This is going to stay in house, but from this as of right now, you're going to finish the day out, and when you go home, you clock out. Your badge is still going to be active, but you will not report back here until 2 weeks. And I was like, huh? They said, yes, you are permanently, on suspension without pay. To after 2 weeks, you report back this date, and employment will resume. So at this point, after today, when you clock out, your pay stops. You will not report back. You will not get paid. So this is a suspension, and that was it. I got suspended for no pay for 2 weeks, two straight weeks, and then I reported back. But what ended up happening was when I reported back, it gave me a different perspective of life, and then I realized that it was time for me to move forward in life and change up careers. And that's what made me switch up and go into a different field. All because I was like, yo, I don't really like this place. Not to say it was a bad place. It was not a bad place, but it was time for a change. And that's why a lot of people today are really suffering inside when they stay at these jobs forever and they feel like they live there because they don't know anything different. And I think a lot of people need to start to change up and start to change up their mindset of how they look at their jobs. Brighten your rises. All right? Peace.